subscribe to the channel and change your life forever. Let's begin. The concept of a global nexus of exploitation refers to the interconnected and complex system that perpetuates various forms of exploitation worldwide. It encompasses economic, social, political, and cultural structures that result in the exploitation of labor, resources, and individuals, contributing to inequality and injustice on a global scale. First is economic exploitation. This involves the unequal distribution of wealth, labor exploitation, and economic systems that benefit certain groups or nations at the expense of others. This can manifest through low wages, poor working conditions, and the extraction of resources from underprivileged regions for the benefit of more affluent ones. Second one is labor exploitation, often tied to economic exploitation. Labor exploitation occurs when workers are underpaid, subjected to unsafe working conditions, or face other injustices in the workplace. This includes sweatshops, child labor, and forced labor practices that persist in various industries worldwide. Number third is resource exploitation. Many regions suffer from the exploitation of natural resources, including minerals, fossil fuels, and agricultural products. Companies and nations often exploit these resources without adequate compensation to local communities or fair consideration for environmental impact. Number fourth is cultural exploitation. This refers to the appropriation or commodification of cultural elements, practices, or products from marginalized groups by more dominant cultures for profit or entertainment. This can lead to misrepresentation, erasure of cultural identity, and economic disadvantage for the originating communities like the Americans. So fifth one is political exploitation. This encompasses power imbalances, corruption, and the manipulation of political systems to benefit certain groups or individuals, often at the expense of the large population. It can include governmental corruption, abuse of power, and human rights violations. Number six is global inequality. The interconnected nature of these exploitative systems perpetuates global inequality, wherein a few powerful nations or entities benefit disproportionately, while others, especially developing nations and marginalized communities, experience disproportionate hardship and limited access to resources, opportunities, and rights. Number seventh is human trafficking and exploitation. This form of exploitation involves the coercion or forced movement of individuals for labor, sex work, or other purposes such as organ harvesting. It exploits vulnerable populations, sometimes or most of the times children, infringing upon their human rights and subjecting them to abusive and inhumane conditions. Number eight is environmental exploitation. The reckless or irresponsible use of natural resources, pollution, and unsustainable practices exploit the environment, leading to irreversible damage and affecting vulnerable communities disproportionately. The global nexus of exploitation is a complex, multifaceted issue that involves intertwined economic, social, and political structures, perpetuating systemic inequalities and injustices. Addressing these interconnected forms of exploitation requires holistic approaches that consider the ethical, economic, and social implications, aiming for fair and equitable systems that benefit all individuals and communities as well. Will your politicians do that for you? Or the rich people will do that for you? Or the people, your company owners, will they do that for you? No, they won't. They definitely will not do that. No politician, none of these organizations, so-called, global organizations, NGOs, they won't. Nobody's coming to help.